Hello, everybody. So there are so many videos on Instagram and Periscopes on Instagram, and we've just been bombarded with information with John Eric, which is amazing. But it's just so much, and so I've kind of taken it all in, and I've taken some time to look at my Instagram page. So I thought that I would share some quick tips with you guys and make it not quite such a long video, so we'll see. And then I've also been talking with a lot of you guys about things that I've learned from Hillary Rushford as well. It's another training that I did. And so I wanted to be able to show you what I was talking about since it's kind of hard to explain it over the phone. So first of all, on your Instagram page, I hope that you guys can see this. On your Instagram page, first of all, your name, your write-up. I think I'm going to change mine a little bit, just the more that I think about it, the more that I start to create my story. There we go. The more that I start to create my story, the more that I can think about ways to change it. I got Andrew a camera for Christmas, and so I will steal it and go and take some of my own pictures to be able to use on Instagram to get more engagement. So you're right up. The other thing that I want to do as well, but I think it's going to take some time just until I kind of start building my page, is to change this name. And so you can have, Jamie_Logston, and then you can have your name here. And so, with Hillary Rushford, hers is Dean Street Society is up here with her Hillary Rushford down here, and then she also owns the opposite as well, but doesn't run that page, so that if somebody searches either one, that they're able to find her. So I just need to come up with some creative name and start thinking through my page and what fits. So that's the first thing. The second thing is following. So, and I've heard it many, many, many times. I know Christina uses it all the time, but when you go to search, and the first way that I search is by location. And so, you can see I was already doing that. I was Denver Museum of Nature and Science. So when you go to search, I need to close my blinds. I'm sorry, hang on. Maybe that will be better. No, it's not. Maybe brighter's better. Okay, when you go to search, you can search by places, and so you can do, these are just different places that I've searched recently. You can do near current location. And then there's just a bunch of places around me that people have checked in. I was trying to find the ones, like, I think about the type of customer and the type of new team member I would like to have, and so I search along there. So Tailgate is a restaurant bar close by, super fun people that are there. Breckenridge, that's where I landed on the Denver Botanical Gardens I've done. That's how I landed on the Downtown Aquarium this morning, because I was thinking about families going there and so on. And so when you search by location, so you just click on the location. So let's do University of Colorado Boulder. So there's top posts. Usually I know that John Eric says to use the top post, but I don't. I scroll down a little bit and I use the most recent posts. And so what you do is you just click on it. And then you can decide, as you scroll through, you just decide, do you want to follow that person or not? And so I click on their name. And then if I decide, like, yeah, those pictures look great, that might be a person that I would like to follow. So then I click on follow. And then this is where the mass following comes in. And so a couple of names will pop up. And so if it looks like somebody who maybe I would like to follow as well. Usually if it's a woman, I follow you. But then I just hit follow, and I just keep hitting follow until there's no more women, or, it stops me at some sort of, I don't know, like CU Boulder, whatever, or something else that I don't want to follow. I usually stop. So I do that first, and then I click on the 3 lines, and I go through and I like and I comment on a couple of their pictures. So I like that picture, that one. that one. And then there I might comment like, oh my gosh, your dog is so adorable. And maybe like and comment on a couple more. So I do that because when you look in your likes, the more that you show up on somebody's, the more that you wonder like, who is this person? Let me see if I can find one. The more that you show up on someone's activity, the more apt they're gonna stop to look at your page. And so where Carly has liked twice, I've clicked on hers to see who she was and to continue. Oh, there's a good one. To continue the engagement. Kane 4721, she liked a bunch of mine. So I went to hers this morning and I was like, who is that? And then I started a conversation with her. So when you do that to somebody else, it gets them to your page as well. So that's by location, but I also search by hashtags too. So when we go to hashtags, those are different hashtags that I've used, but I search hashtags that I think that I would like. So I've done moms with boys. Those are actually really funny. Gosh, there was another mom one too. I can't remember it, but it was a funny one, and I got all sorts of amusement out of it. Plus I was able to find moms, which is really, what a lot of our of who we want our customers and clients to be. Around Christmas time, I searched Elf on the Shelf because I figured that those were all moms too. So just got to think about different hashtags that you would want, and the same thing. We'll do moms or mom life. Mom life is a good one. And so again, I skip the top posts because those are usually people with a ton of followers, and they're usually businesses, things like that. So I go down to the most recent, and when it's most recent, that means that these people are active on Instagram, that you're not following when you're just clicking through and you're hitting follow forever. You don't know if those people have been on Instagram yesterday or 2 years ago. So has it been around for that long? I think it has. And so when you do it by most recent, you know that these people are active on Instagram. And so same thing. I'm going to click on her page and I'm going to say, yeah, I think she might be somebody that I want to follow. So I follow her. Oh, I have followed too much today and it's not letting me follow anymore. But I would click on follow. I would follow these guys and keep following and keep tapping. And then I would go down and like a couple of her pictures and videos. Find one to make a comment on. I try not to comment it kind of is a pet peeve of mine when people comment on my stuff like, love it, or way to go, Jamie, or, just very generic. I try to make it personal and thoughtful when I'm commenting. So like there, she's Superwoman and that's so awesome. So I will make a comment later on when I'm done with this. So that's following. That's what I have found that has worked for me. So I'm just not sitting there like following a million people and really not engaging with them at all, because engaging with them is important. And then the other thing is your color story. So creating a brand of who you are, and what you want people to see about you, I guess. My thinking is Colorado, getting up to the mountains, Denver, sharing my lifestyle here, and then what this business has brought to me is kind of the way that I'm moving towards. Still working on that. My family and my dog, of course, is all over my Instagram as well. And so thinking about your brand and what you are trying to promote, and then also a color story to go along with it. So I worked on my color story, and then I got a little off my color story, but I do have a section, and I'll take a screenshot and put it in the comments, that I was able to show a true color story. So color story means is all the pictures kind of blend together. They all share the same hues and the same tones, and it's really appealing to the eye. And I had no idea, I just knew sometimes I looked at people's Instagram pages and they made me want to scream. And sometimes I was like, oh, look how pretty they are. And so I have a list of different people for you guys to look up that you can see the difference in in an Instagram page that's really thoughtful, and then an Instagram page that's just a bunch of stuff is thrown on there. And I'm not gonna lie, like I am so not good at that, because there's some of the stuff it's like, wow, it's really not appeasing to the eye. I need to be, and then even after I learned about Color Story, I need to be a lot more thoughtful, and I need to add in, I like blank spaces. So I like when I see these, like a well-spent Sunday, rings of a week of content. I like those in between, because I think that it gives it more of a clean, fresh look. So I need to make sure that I add in more of those just to kind of clean it up a little bit. But I kind of, like, I get good with the Color Story. Like, you see a couple there, and then I'm like, oh, but I want to post this one. And then that's something else that Hillary Rushford has said is that even if you have a great picture that you so want to share, even if it's not in the right color scheme or the right color story, don't post it. Or maybe post it just so that you can see, so your friends can see it or whatever, because it's your kid or your dog and it's adorable. But then delete it so that it's not a part of your brand and of your color story. The other way to, so looking at when you're taking pictures, what pictures would you add? And then also using apps and using filters. So I always use, anytime I put a picture, I always use, there's my baby. I always use the second filter over every time, no matter what. That's just how I post my pictures, and it kind of starts to bring that color story together. And then I might adjust a little bit with these things. The other thing that I do is I love Aviary. Is one of my favorite apps. So I use Aviary a lot. And then, it's like high def. So under enhance, you can change it this way as well. So you can do high def, food, portrait, and then it changes the hues. Hillary Rushford recommends VSCO. Oops. So with VSCO, this one, you create recipes, and it's actually really cool. It's actually really cool to use it because you can create your recipe and you can save your recipe. So these are all ones that I've made with it. There hasn't been a whole lot, but when you, let's upload a picture. So it doesn't take your whole camera roll too, and so you can pick and choose because, we all got 8,000 pictures on our camera roll. And so, and I can upload, I have a PDF from Hillary Rushford on how to use this app, but you just, whoops, you hit the 2 lines, and then these are all filters. I don't use the filters, I use the tools. And so you go to this one, and then I know that I like to, I go over 1 with the exposure, and then when I get to contrast, I know that I like to go a couple to the right. I think I skip over these. Yep, I skip over these. And then with clarity, just depending on the picture, whoops, sorry. And you can play around with it like that. I like my pictures to be sharp and crisp. There's saturation. And so you create your own recipe, and then you can use that same recipe every time. And I don't remember. Oh, and then it tells you what your recipe is, and that way you can remember what you do every time, so that way your pictures all kind of look the same. So that one is cool. I like to play around with it, but if you're in a hurry and if in doubt, then of course you can always just use the filters on Instagram. Just thought of something else. I can't remember. I totally lost it. Sorry. There's a couple other apps that she uses as well. I haven't quite used them as much yet, but I will, I'll fill you guys in after I do. Gosh, what was I going to say? I don't remember. Anyways, so last thing, and I will post this. This is all in a PDF, but I will post this on in the comments under this video. And so here are different pages to go and look at. And so there's brand story. And so it shares their brand, color palette, and then layout. There's ways to lay out, like some people use all circles. A guy who I think works for Nike, every 3rd picture is shoes. And so every time he So the shoes are either in the first column, the second column, or the third column, which is really cool. And so looking at layout as well. So these are some pages that that I think would be beneficial to look at, and then you'll find that as you're looking at people's Instagram pages, you will find that you start noticing more and more, and then you can also see how appealing it is to the eye. Because once you get your followers to your page, you want them to stay on your page. So I think that's it. So sorry I talked really fast, but I wanted to make sure that I got everything in a short amount of time so that you guys didn't have to sit here for an hour watching a video on Instagram. All right, well, let me know if you have any questions. Thanks.